For the last 3 months, I have been running an experiment that has changed how I think about goal setting. I've tried a couple different ways to set goals before, and they've all failed pretty spectacularly. Resolutions to get in shape or start YouTube were so big and nebulous, so I'd spend more time planning how to do it than actually doing the thing. But on the other end of the spectrum, I'd already tried habit tracking, and it was too rigid and too detailed for me. And then falling behind on time-based goals made me feel like absolute even if I was still making progress. So I asked myself, since these obviously didn't work, what would a system that does the exact opposite even look like? It would have to be a system that prioritized the little things but wouldn't be too rigid. And what if I ditch the success-fail binary altogether? That kind of opposite thinking led me to deciding on themes I want to embody this year instead of specific goals to achieve. For me, that's nature, community, and creativity. Themes are different from goals because they're not just something you cross off a list. They're things you value. And so in theory, you could have the same themes every year for the rest of your life if you wanted. And tracking themes is working way better for me than concrete goals ever could. And I think there's a few reasons why. First, they're acting like a friendly guide and there's not a demand. As I'm making decisions throughout the day, I'm asking myself, is this choice helping me embody one of my themes? So for example, since nature is one of my themes, I found it just so much easier to get myself outside and go for walks. If I had a goal to go on a daily walk, that might make me resentful or I would dread it. But on the other hand, it feels really good to say, I'm doing this thing because I value it. And the second thing that themes rock at is giving you freedom. Some days my creativity theme is scripting videos for this channel. Some days it's doing my nails. And if I had a concrete goal of make this number of YouTube videos, I would feel kind of guilty taking a full afternoon to do a different creative activity. But since my themes are broad, any creative action is proof that I'm embodying that value. So themes, in theory, work really well when goals or resolutions have not. But how do we actually apply this? First, we're going to talk about coming up with your themes. And the way I came up with mine was actually really easy. First, I thought about the past month or so and the days I remembered feeling happy and energized. I noticed some common threads between those days. Those days were the ones that I spent time outside or had meaningful social interaction or worked on something creative that wasn't for my day job. So from there, my hypothesis was if I do more of those things, I'll have more days that are happy and energized. For you, it could be things like family time or moving your body or pursuing knowledge. Basically, a theme could be something that you value and want more of in your life. It's pretty open-ended. And when making your themes, I actually want you to keep them super broad. So even if painting is something you want to focus on and has brought you a lot of joy, I would make the theme art to make it more all-encompassing. And if you're wondering how many themes to pick, I would recommend 2 or maybe 3, just based on my experience so far. Having 3 themes for me has let me focus on growing in a couple areas, and it's also few enough that I can write them down in 30 seconds every single day. Which is important because none of this stuff matters if you can't track it. I'm tracking my themes in a paper book, but this is so easy you could literally do it in a notes app of your phone. So in the morning, I write the date, I list my themes, and then I go about my day. And then at the end of the day, or even more realistically the next morning, I just write on those lines what I did related to the themes. And I keep it on a running list on the same page so I can get a broad overview of my week. Something else that I've done to make this as low effort as possible is I'll start the top of a page by writing out nature, community, and creativity, but then in the days that follow, I'll literally just abbreviate it. Does it save maybe 2 seconds? Yes, but just anything to get rid of barriers to filling out your themes is really helpful. If you look at my notebook, it's pretty clear that most days have 1 or 2 themes as the focus. Getting all 3 in one day just isn't as common. Like on January 27th, I didn't have any activities related to my themes. But the day before, I'd filmed part of a video for creativity, and then the day after, I hit community and nature. And I think that's why this compact form of tracking is extra helpful. Missing one day can feel huge in the moment, but I've still done a ton to embody my themes this week, So it all averages out. And since these are not outcome-based goals, it's not like I'm falling behind if I have a no theme day. I can just keep going tomorrow. I'd love for you to join me in this theme tracking experiment because I'm going to keep it going for as long as I can. So comment what one of your themes will be for the year and we can cheer each other on. Thanks for watching.